Vince Williams has an idea for Kendrick Green, tossed it on Twitter yesterday. He said, I honestly do think Kendrick Green would be a ridiculously good fullback, a bigger Rosie Nix. Rosie Nix is a former Pro Bowler for the Pittsburgh Steelers. You used to ask running backs in Pittsburgh. I remember asking James Conner once, like, Rosie came back from an injury. I was like, hey, how excited are you to get Rosie back? And the smile on this guy's face was huge. He was like, I am so excited to have Rosie Nix back in the lineup. Kendrick, I mean, that's what you know about him. You know, he's super athletic. You know, he's way too small to play offensive lineman in the NFL. And you know, he's aggressive and he's mean.
Yeah.
Does it work?
I mean, he's still 315 pounds, which
true
might be good to block with, but I don't know. I feel like you got to be a little bit more athletic to be a fullback. He'd have to really change his body. And for a guy like that, like, are you going to completely give up on being an offensive lineman? Because, like, once you drop to a weight that a fullback plays at, it's going to be pretty tough to get back to what an offensive lineman plays at. So,
oh yeah, it's over. You're not going back. Like,
right.
There's no way. You're like, I weigh 240, and that your body can't handle that. The dysmorphia would be crazy.
Yeah, it would be nuts. So maybe I just feel like Kendrick would be a little, like, if you approach Kendrick with that idea, he would, like, slap you in the face or something.
But, like, okay, but if you approach Kendrick with that idea, or you say the other alternative is you get cut.
Yeah, that's true.
Like, I don't think he's got a shot at making the roster right now. I just don't. I don't look at him as a guy. I think you give Spencer Anderson an opportunity over this guy at this point. You know, you keep Kevin Dotson if nobody calls about Kevin Dotson, but there's just too many names there for you to say Kendrick Green's going to stick around for another year. Maybe you put him on the practice squad. But if you could go in, because you'd have to do it early enough, you know, like, it'd have to be the beginning of the summer type situation. And you say, hey, Kendrick, you know, let's try a fullback. Let's see what happens. We don't have a fullback. All he's got to do is compete with Monty the Mullet Pottenbaum, who, you know, should already be on the roster, but he's not yet. He's got to prove himself. I mean, maybe he takes it. Like, most offensive linemen lose weight anyways after their career. Nobody stays 330 pounds after retirement, at least most guys. Maybe that's the career change. Year 3, I feel like early enough to get it done. Still on a rookie contract. Maybe.
That's just what leads me to believe that he is going to get. Like, do you think there's a trade market for Kendrick Green?
No.
Really?
No. None.
None at all?
Zero. Like, absolutely zero. So the way the NFL works is, if you're a smaller offensive lineman, you move inside. You move the furthest inside you could get. And he's already too small to play guard, which means that you have to play center. And he stinks at playing center. And then he opened up about saying, I don't want to play center, which ruined any trade market that this guy had, because the team would only look at him to play center. Nobody's going to trade for this guy and say, let's get a 5'10" guard with shorter arms than, you know, anybody on our team, and say, hey, come on, you know, we'll try to make you work. No, he's a former 3rd-round pick. Those guys fade out. You know, Zach Banner was a former 4th-round pick, I believe, has starting experience, won over the Hearts in Pittsburgh, lost a bunch of weight, was literally set to start, suffered an ACL injury, is pretty much out of the league at this point. You know, I don't think that draft pick really holds ground, you know, not for linemen.
Oh, like, you mean, like, oh, we drafted this guy pretty early, like, we got to
Yeah. I think that would be the only thing, like, is the fact that teams would look at him and say, well, he's a former 3rd-round pick, so there had to be something there. I don't think that holds that ground anymore. Just don't.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think this just disappointing for him, you know, like, for that to be, if he's considering that at all. Yeah, like, I completely agree. He is slim to none chance at making the roster, and yeah, I guess you should consider it if you just want to play.
So all you got to do is get on the field. Could you imagine Kendrick Green run down on some special teams, playing fullback, trying to make some tackles, just thumping people? I mean, It would work. The dude would be so out of shape, though. It would have to take a full year. Like, you'd have to put him on the practice squad and say, totally change your body to be a fullback.
And that's also for, like, play fullback for the Steelers. Like, Steelers, If Kendrick Green does this, they have 3 fullbacks, which I feel like is too many.
Yes. No,
Well,
2 fullbacks.
if you're Connor Hayward theory, I
Oh,
was counting
true.
that
3
as
fullbacks. That's a lot of fullbacks. That's a lot for a team that does not use a fullback.
yeah, for a
That's
team
a
that does
lot.
not run the triple option, that's a couple too many
Yeah, or
fullbacks.
I formation or anything. Like there's never full. The only time Derek Watt entered the football game was when you knew he was going to run the football for 1 yard. That's the only time that he was on in an offensive snap or huddle. Yeah, I agree with that one. Maybe. I don't know. I think you toss him. If I'm Mike Tomlin and I'm Matt Canada, Kendrick Green's not making the roster unless he comes out here and impresses. When he doesn't make the roster and you put him on the practice squad, I'm looking at him and saying, look it, dude, we're going to test you at a bunch of different spots. We're going to see what works for you. If something works, cool. If nothing works, you're gone. Sorry, but try. I would say at least try. This is like the cut year. Like, you got to remember, Buddy Johnson lasted only 2 years. That was like, and he was a 4th round pick, I believe, with a ton of upside at inside linebacker. Was supposed to be like that next versatile inside linebacker. Didn't work out. Like, the leash is short with guys that just don't get it. And I don't know how much ground Kendrick's got left before